Niger has just detonated a political earthquake that is shaking capitals across the globe. With one decisive action, the country seized back control of its only industrial gold mine, ripping it from foreign hands. No backroom deals, no drawn-out negotiations, just action. For years, Nigerians watched wealth leave their soil while schools struggled, hospitals lacked supplies, and opportunities vanished. Today, the script flips. Supporters are calling it pure sovereignty in motion, Africa refusing to ask for permission to use its own resources. Critics label it reckless, a leap into uncertainty that could trigger investor flight and retaliation. But whether you see courage or chaos, one truth is undeniable. A new generation of African leadership is picking up the pen and writing its own chapter. This is about more than an in the ground. This is about dignity, control, and the audacity to choose a different future. The fuse is lit. The world is watching. The mine at the center of this showdown is Samira Hill near the Benin border, a site that marked Niger's first industrial-scale gold production when it opened in the mid-2000s. For years, it symbolized a familiar pattern: African resources extracted, exported, and monetized elsewhere. Now, the government says enough. It has nationalized the operation, asserting full control over the asset and accusing the foreign operator of serious contractual breaches. Officials frame the decision as a strategic reset, protecting a vital resource, stabilizing production, and ensuring that value creation occurs inside Niger's borders, not just abroad. For a nation too often defined by what outsiders take from it, this is a line in the sand. The message is unmistakable. Niger is shifting from passive concession holder to active owner, from price taker to value maker. Whatever comes next, legal challenges, market turbulence, or diplomatic blowback, this moment will be remembered as a declaration of economic intent. This is not about a single mine. It is about who writes the rules. End of sequence. The tremor isn't just geological, it's geopolitical. Samira Hill's nationalization lands amid a wider debate about resource sovereignty across the global south. Investors read this as a signal. The age of easy concessions is fading. Neighboring countries, from the Sahel to the Gulf of Guinea, are studying the playbook, weighing the costs of confrontation against the benefits of control. For Western capitals, the concern is precedent. If Niger can flip the switch on its only industrial gold mine, what stops others from doing the same with oil fields, copper belts, or lithium brines? For African youth, though, the signal is galvanizing. The conversation has shifted from can to how soon. This isn't just a policy choice, it's a cultural moment, an insistence that development must finally mean local value, not perpetual extraction. Markets may wobble, diplomats may posture, but on the ground, millions feel a rare thing. Forward motion. End of sequence. To understand the fire in this decision, you have to trace the fuse. For over a century, African gold, diamonds, oil, and uranium fed industries and treasuries far from African shores. Colonial administrators drew borders, granted concessions, and built railways designed to extract, not integrate. Independence came, but many structures stayed. Unequal contracts, tax holidays, transfer pricing, and weak local linkages. In Niger's case, headlines usually fixate on uranium, but gold has long been a quiet part of the story. The real question was never just how much is in the ground, it was who captures the value. Niger's move today isn't a random outburst. It's part of an arc where nations are re-examining the terms written in someone else's handwriting and asking whether those terms ever truly served their people. End of section. When Samira Hill launched, early technical documents projected about 100,000 ounces per year, with a first-year forecast near 135,000 ounces. In practice, output has fluctuated across cycles, equipment issues, and price swings, like most mines in frontier contexts. Ownership and contract structures also shifted. In 2013, Samafo exited, selling its 80% interest to Sopomin. What matters isn't memorizing every ounce poured, it's understanding the leverage. If mining is just extract and export, nations capture little beyond royalties and payroll. If mining is extraction, plus processing, plus services, plus skills, plus downstream products, nations capture margin up and down the chain. Niger's move wagers that owning the asset and the plan, not just the pit, can unlock far more than a royalty stream. That's the difference between being a site and being an industry. On the streets of Niamey and in digital town squares across the continent, supporters hail the nationalization as a return of dignity. They say it's not anti-investment, it's pro-fairness. The message to multinationals: bring capital, but bring partnership, with real technology transfer, local procurement, and community development that lives beyond the mine's life. They point to countries building refineries, smelters, and training centers alongside pit development. They want green energy to power mines and public grids, not diesel fumes and rolling blackouts. And they want transparent contracts so citizens can track the promises against the outcomes. Sovereignty, in this telling, is the foundation, not the finish line. Critics warn that bold symbolism can carry steep costs. They worry about arbitration in international courts, sanctions, or creditors tightening terms. They cite risks: procurement bottlenecks, shortage of spare parts, loss of advanced mine planning expertise. Some argue nationalizations can become political trophies, strong at the announcement, weak in execution, if governance doesn't stay disciplined. The harshest skeptics predict investor flight and stagnant output. But even many critics concede a key point. The old model delivered too little. The real question isn't whether Niger should demand more. It's whether the state can build a competent operating company, recruit experienced managers, and ring-fence revenues for development instead of leakage. Zoom out, and a pattern comes into focus. Across the Sahel and beyond, governments are renegotiating contracts, hiking royalty rates, insisting on local content. Meanwhile, countries from Namibia to Tanzania are pushing for beneficiation, processing minerals at home. For citizens, the goal is not slogans, it's jobs, skills, and infrastructure. For policymakers, the test is sequencing: stabilize operations, build capacity, and anchor downstream industries without choking investment. It's a tightrope, yes, but one many African economies are now prepared to walk. Commodities don't exist in a vacuum. They live in spreadsheets and shipping routes. A swift change in mine control triggers real reactions. Gold traders watch for supply disruptions, logistics firms recalibrate risk, and banks reprice country exposure. If Niger succeeds and output stabilizes under national control, the story becomes a case study for state-led turnarounds. If operations stall, it chills frontier investment. Then, there's the copycat effect. When small states move first, bigger ones take notes. Markets hate uncertainty, but they respond to competence. The hinge is execution, procurement pipelines, safety culture, transparent revenue management. That's how you turn a headline into a blueprint. Minerals don't build nations, institutions do. That's why citizens are at the center of this story. When the public demands contracts be published, when journalists follow the money, when communities negotiate benefit agreements tied to real milestones, governance gets teeth. Young Nigerians want apprenticeships, engineering fellowships, and startup capital for service companies that mine operators must hire locally. Unions want safe shifts and timely pay. Families want electricity that doesn't cut out at exam time. And everyone wants the environment protected, tailings managed properly, water monitored, and land rehabilitated. If the state builds feedback loops, citizen dashboards, independent audits, grievance systems, it can turn nationalization from a one-day headline into a decade-long development engine. Seizing an asset is the start, not the finish. The follow-through is technical. Secure supply chains, overhaul maintenance schedules, and implement a robust mine plan with clear quarterly targets. It's financial. Ring-fence revenues, publish payments, and direct a portion into a future generation's fund as a guardrail against political cycles. It's human. Recruit seasoned mine managers, including diaspora professionals, pair them with local engineers, and bake knowledge transfer into contracts. It's industrial. Add value steps where feasible, better grade control, optimizing recoveries, and investigating regional refining capacity. And it's legal. Settle disputes cleanly where possible and keep the door open to partnerships that respect Niger's terms. The most powerful rebuttal to skeptics is simple: hit production, pay workers, improve communities. Do that, and the narrative changes from "can they" to "look what they built." This is bigger than gold. This is a nation drawing a boundary around its future and saying, "Ours." It won't be easy. Power rarely yields without a fight. Building capacity is slower than switch, but always the same. Claim and design a system that serves someone else's shareholders. If Niger turns this moment into a machine, one that turns ore into opportunity and revenue into roads, clinics, and code academies, the shockwave won't be a tremor, it will be a tide. As the African diaspora saying reminds us, "I am because we are, and we are because I am." Africa is not waiting for permission anymore. The work has begun. Africa Rising. This is Insight Africa, where the continent speaks for itself.